everyone, it's Bethany. In this tutorial, I'm going to be creating a cute little cake topper. My littlest has a birthday coming up and she is in love with Frozen and has been for quite some time. So I'm going to be making her a little Frozen themed Elsa and Anna cake topper, which I think is going to turn out really, really cute. So for materials, I just grabbed a few things that I thought I would need off the top of my head, but I'm sure I'm going to grab a few more things as I craft. So always be sure to check out the description box below the video for a full list of all the materials that I'll be using for this craft. So I'm going to be using the Cricut Explore Air 2 for this craft, and then for paper I'm going to be using, this is just a regular piece of scrapbook paper. It's from American Crafts, so I believe I got it from Joanns. And then I'm also going to be using some glitter cardstock, and this glitter cardstock I got from Cricut, and it came in this pastel sampler, so it has a lot of fun little colors in it, and I think it's just going to be perfect for this Frozen themed cake topper because it's just so glittery and fun, and I think it's just going to really make the cake topper really, really neat. So I'm going to use those two pieces for my paper products, and then I have a little skewer here, and I just grabbed it from our kitchen. Quite honestly, it's what we make kebabs with for the barbecue, but I like it because it's nice and thin. I had some thicker, chunkier little dowels, I guess you could call them, but I just thought they were too thick. So go ahead and use whatever you think is best, but for me, I like the thinness of this little skewer, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. I'm also going to be using some pop dots because I want to get some dimension on a certain portion of my little cake topper, and then I'm also going to use a little bit of hot glue. So real quick, we're going to hop into the Cricut Design Space. I'm going to show you how I'm going to get all of this designed, and then we are going to be doing a little bit of print and cut, and we're also going to be cutting out the paper with the cardstock setting and the scrapbook setting. So lots of fun things coming up. Let's go ahead and hop into Design Space. Okay, so now that we're in Cricut Design Space, I'm going to come over to the left side and I am going to click on Images, and then in the search bar I'm going to type in Frozen, and once I type that in and hit the enter button, you will see a bunch of images that are related to that keyword, and these are the images that are from Disney's Frozen. They're super, super cute. Some are cut files, some are print and cut, but there are a lot of fun files that you can use. So one thing about Disney images is that you have to pay additionally for them, so they'll have the price on the bottom of each image. Even if you have Cricut Access, you do have to pay for Disney images, so they aren't included in Access. So I'm going to go ahead and use this first one. You'll see that it says purchase down here because I have purchased this, so I can go ahead and use this on as many projects as I would like to. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one right here, and then once I've clicked on it, it adds it to my queue. I'm going to go ahead and come back up here, and I'm going to type in snowflake, and then I'm going to use this snowflake. So now I have a snowflake and then my Elsa, Anna, Disney characters down in the queue down here at the bottom. Now I can say insert images and it will insert both onto my canvas. So I'll just drag these to the side really quick. Now for my snowflake, it's going to be the base for my cake topper. So I'm going to do an 8-inch round. So I'm thinking about 5 inches wide is going to be perfect for the size of my cake topper. I think that's going to look really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and make this 5 inches across, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to, just for visual purposes, I'm just going to make this pink just so I can kind of get an idea of where I'm going with this. I actually think that one's going to be kind of a darker pink. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is, I actually forgot an image, so I'm going to go back to images, and I am going to type in scalloped circle. Okay, and then I'm going to use this right here. Go ahead and insert the image, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a little circle in the middle that I'll cut out of a different piece of paper. And I think that'll look really, really nice. So what I want to do is this Elsa and Anna, if you look over in the layers panel, this is a cut file right now. You can say it says cut, or see that it says cut on each of the layers here, and I don't want it to cut. I actually want to do a print and cut. So what I'm going to do is I am going to convert this from a cut file to a print and cut file, and how I do that is I will go ahead and select the image, and I'll come down and flatten it. So now you'll see over in the layers panel, it says cut print, and now it's one layer. So that's what I'm gonna do for that. I'm gonna go ahead and go back real quick because what I wanna do is I want to make Anna's colors just a little bit different. I'm gonna make her coat like a light pink, I think. Oh, that moved that over. And then I'm going to make, I think that's gonna look nice. Okay, so I just wanted to change the colors up a little bit. And you can do that just by clicking on the layer and then coming up to the color box and changing the colors around a bit if you would like to. So I just was gonna make that a little bit pinker. I thought it was really cute. So again, what I'm going to do is just take that image and flatten it to make it a print and cut file. Okay, so now what I need to do is come over and grab a circle, and I am going to, instead of having my Cricut cut around each and every little piece of hair, which would be just fine, I believe, I'm going to have my Cricut do an easier job, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to instead cut it on a circle. So I'm going to place Elsa and Anna right on a circle here. And then get them sized how I want them. That looks about right to my eye. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select both the circle and Elsa and Anna, and I'm going to flatten them. So now this whole piece with the circle behind it is my print and cut file. So what it's going to do is, if I change my canvas color, you guys can see really quickly the background here. So what this is going to do is it's going to print this out and then it's going to cut it out in a circle instead of cutting around all of those little pieces. I just figured those pieces would be a little delicate, and so I want something a little bit more durable for the cake topper, so I thought this would be a better idea. You can do it however you would like. This is just how I'm going to approach it. So then I'm going to place it right on my little scalloped circle here, and I think that looks about right. So that circle is going to be the lighter pink, and I think this is going to be super cute. Okay, the last thing I want to do is I want to take my snowflake and I want to come up to the layers panel and I want to duplicate that. And I'm doing this because I want to put this snowflake on the front and on the back just to kind of cover up the back and have a more finished look on the back. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and come up to flip, and I'm going to say flip horizontal. That way it's the mirror image of this right here, so that when I flip this over to the back, and you guys will see this, if you're confused right now, don't worry, but I want this to be in mirror image because I want them to line up back to back on my little skewer and cake topper together. And you guys will see me demonstrate that once everything's cut out. All right, so I think everything is ready. I can go ahead and just double check my snowflake is going to cut out. That's perfect. My little Elsa and Anna is going to be print and cut. My scallop circle is going to cut. And then my other snowflake is going to cut as well. So all of my layers are doing exactly what I want them to do. I have my Explorer machine already selected right up here, so I can go ahead and say make it. Okay, so then what this is this is going to be my print and cut right here. My next page is going to be my snowflakes. I'm just going to drag that out just a little bit to give it some room in between. And then my final page will be this little scalloped circle. Okay, so the first one that's going to go through is my print and cut. So I'll go ahead and click continue. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to load a piece of white cardstock into my printer, and then I'll say send to printer. And once I do that, I just use our home printer. It's an HP OfficeJet Pro 9010 series. I'm just doing one copy. I always keep bleed on, and once it's all loaded, I'll just say print. Okay, so once it's printed, I am going to go ahead and browse all materials, and then I'm going to go to cardstock, and I am going to say, I think my cardstock is medium cardstock, so that is what I will use for my print and cut. Then what I'll do is I have to change the settings for my glitter. So my glitter will be glitter cardstock. And then the paper, I am going to come down to paper, which should be, where are you, paper? Right up here. And I'm just going to select, I think I'm going to use the light patterned paper because it is fairly thin. So I think that will be the best bet for that. So again, in between each of my cuts, I will select a different cut setting because I'm using 3 different pieces of material. So again, the first one is that print and cut, so I'll go ahead and select my medium cardstock, and we'll go ahead and load that and get cutting. Okay, so I have my little print and cut here, and don't mind my mat, I got some foil transfer sheets accidentally placed on there. Do not get your foil transfer sheets on there because it transfers right onto your mat. But the mat is still perfectly fine. Unfortunately, it's brand new, so I'm just gonna have to go with it for a while. Okay, so I have my little print and cut here. It went through my printer on my cardstock. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to place it in the top left-hand corner of my mat. Make sure it's all lined up. And then one thing you wanna make sure you do before you do print and cut is you wanna make sure that your machine is calibrated. I will place a link to a tutorial in the top corner of this video so that you can learn how to calibrate your machine. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and load my machine, and then I'm going to hit the Cricut button that's flashing, and what's going to do is it's going to go ahead and scan my entire image. And what it's looking for is this box right here. So you want to make sure the box stays on your paper. Do not do any cutting. It's using the box to reference where the image is actually located. So the box is super important. So it's going to go ahead and make those scans really quick to locate the box. And then once it makes that little scan, it will go ahead and start cutting. Okay, so that is done. I'm going to go ahead and unload my mat. Now I'm going to turn my mat over, and I'm just going to peel away my paper from the mat and peel away this little piece right here. And then the next thing it's calling for is my glitter paper. So usually I would use my green mat for glitter cardstock, but this is so brand new that I'm thinking this will be just fine to go ahead and use this. So I'm going to go ahead and place my glitter cardstock right on here. Again, I have to change my settings inside Cricut Design Space. For my Explorer 2, I always keep my dial set to custom, and I just do all my settings manually in Design Space. Okay, so the glitter cardstock setting, just so you're aware, when it cuts, it will do 2 passes. So it's going to say it will cut out a triangle, then it will cut out the triangle one more time just to make sure that it gets a deep enough cut. So if your machine's doing that, I just wanted to make you aware that that is normal. It looks like it's just doing a double pass to make sure it makes a nice clean cut. Okay, so I'm just doing the same method with my glitter cardstock, just keeping my mat upside down and peeling the mat away from the cardstock. That looks really, really good. Okay, and so I will continue by just taking the snowflakes off, and doing it this way just prevents the cardstock and paper, whatever material you're working with, from curling. So it's best just to do it that way. Okay, so I have my 2 pieces. I'm just going to cut out that little piece of scrapbook paper real quick, and then we'll assemble this. Okay, so we have everything cut out. I have our little print and cut right here on the cardstock, and then I have my little scalloped circle here. I honestly would recommend using something a little bit more durable. I'm not too worried about it because we're just having a little tiny family birthday party with just the 4 of us, so this is just fine for what we're doing. But I would definitely recommend, you know, a heavier cardstock or something. This is kind of light patterned paper, so it is basically like just printer paper. So go with something a little bit more durable, but for my purposes, it's going to be just fine. Okay, and then I have my cute little snowflakes. Again, I did a little mirroring in Design Space like you saw, and the reason is because I want to take one side and put it right on the back just so it will make it nice and polished, and then when you mirror it like that, it lines up perfectly, so then the front and the back are all perfect just like that. So we'll get to that, but that is kind of a visual of why I did that the way I did it. So I'm trying to decide which part I want to assemble first, and I'm thinking that I might assemble the entire cake topper first and then do the little embellishments last. So what I'll do is I'm going to take the bottom. So the bottom, because I can bring this stuff down here a little bit. The bottom is this side. So what I'm going to do is first and foremost, I'm going to use hot glue. You can use any adhesive that you like. I am personally a major hot glue fan. I like the instant gratification of it. I think it's super easy to use, but you can use whatever adhesive you like best. I'm just showing you how I'm going to do it, but go ahead and run with it and do however you like. So I just placed a bead of glue down the center, and then I'm going to go ahead and just place my skewer right in there. And I placed it all the way. I have a pretty long skewer. I probably should measure that for you to tell you how long that is. It is, I bet it's about 12 inches. Exactly. Okay, so it's, well, might be a little over 12 inches. But I put the entire thing on there because I want it to be super, super durable. And then, let's see, for the cake, it's probably going to go that far in. So that's perfect. It'll probably have like a little inch gap. And of course, when you are making your cake, you can always cut down your little dowel as well. Okay, so that is on there. I love how that is secured there. So now I'm going to take the top and I'm going to place it right on top here. So I'm going to do this in sections, I think. So I am going to, I think I'm going to do the entire base first. So I'm going to go ahead on that piece of wood there, or that skewer. I'm just going to place a bead of glue there. Okay. And then again, lining this up, I'm going to go ahead and line that up, and then essentially just that middle part is on there for now. Now I'm going to keep gluing, but I wanted to make sure that I had a really good secure spot on that dowel there. I don't know what to call it because it's a skewer dowel, but anyway, it's my little stick, I guess. Okay, so now that I have that done, I am going to go through and I'm going to put a little bead of glue on all the little tips of the snowflakes. And then I'm just going to bring that up and then have those meet together and just glue them together. Okay. And then I'll just lift this up and I'll put a generous amount of glue, grab those tips, just like this. Perfect. And line those up and glue. Okay, so I did all of this side and I'm loving how that looks. It's doing a nice crisp job around the sides. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip this over so I can keep going on this side. So again, I had it like this, everything is glued. I'm just going to flip it over because I'm better with my left hand and right hand in this fashion. So I'm going to do a little bit more glue, squeeze together. This is turning out super cute. Totally not a professional at this. I'm just making this for my toddler. But listen, she's going to love it. And I'm impressed with myself, so is it probably the best way to do it? I don't know. But it's the way I'm going to do it. Okay. Go ahead. And the last part right here. Okay. That looks cute. I love that. And then the little strings just come right off. They're super easy. Not a problem at all. Okay, so now I'm going to assemble the little embellishments on there. And this is where I'm going to use the foam adhesive dots. So I'm going to use these. And I'm using these just because I love dimension. I think it makes something go from just okay to really, really polished and professional. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and assemble these two perfectly together. And you can get these pop dots or foam dots, whatever you want to call them. You can get them at the craft store. You can get them on Amazon. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of line up where I want this. That looks really cute. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, turn this over, and I'm just going to put maybe 5 on the back. I'm just going to kind of go around a circle here. And they are double-sided, so once you get that first side down, then you go back through with your nail and you just peel off the back. Sometimes it's easier said than done. Okay, so now that I have that done, I can turn that over. And my pattern is directional a little bit. It's kind of like a little herringbone. So I want to make sure that that is straight. And then I'm just going to center this the best that I can. And press down. So then that gives that just a little bit of dimension. You can see the pop dots when you put it to the side. They're not distracting or anything, but it'll just kind of pop it up off of that little scallop there, and it'll just make it look a little bit more dimensional. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, but let's see, I'm going to, because I have, what I forgot to do is I was going to contour this out just so that I could have a blank area here, but actually it's going to be just fine. So I'll actually just put everything, I'm going to put my pop dots right on the snowflake for this part. And I'm just going to kind of go between those little triangles, if that makes sense. And that's how I will attach this part. So give it even more of that raised effect. And then I'll take those little tabs off and we will be done. Okay, so that's done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to center that on those dots and press it down. Oh my goodness, that looks so cute. I love how that looks. How cute is this? Okay, so this is the final look. I love how this turned out. Again, I'm not a professional. I am just a mama who wants to make my little one's day just magical, and she's gonna find this to be completely magical. She's gonna love this glitter, and I think it just looks so fun. So you can add as much or as little as you'd like. You can go ahead and add some little, those little gemstones if you'd like to add more. You can add ribbon. I was going to add ribbon, but I tried, and I just didn't like the way that that looked. I am honestly a self-proclaimed minimalist. I am like a less is more type of person, so I always have a little bit less on mine just because I like that look. So again, you can carry on and add even more if you'd like, but for me this is perfect, and this is exactly what I think that she's going to love. So I hope you guys enjoyed this super easy way to make a nice polished double-sided cake topper. It was super fun, super quick and easy, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Alright everyone, let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you all in the next video.